Una. It said, I am 6 months postpartum. Congratulations. After a C-section and my back aches because of a weak core. What can I do? This is just the example that I'm really thinking of because I saw a comment earlier on in one of the comments on the live stream on TikTok was about this kind of scenario. The lady that had commented obviously had young children, and this is the issue, right? We'll be worried about doing exercises whilst looking after a 6-month-old, which means you're picking them up, maybe feeding them, maybe holding them a lot, maybe rocking them, etc., etc., etc. You've got the cradle that you're putting them down in, or the cot, sorry. We're bending over and putting the little one down and picking them up. And you're doing that while you're half asleep in the middle of the night. Oh gosh, you're not thinking about your back. And so the mistake here is looking at core exercises, thinking that you're just going to do some abs, whatever that really means. In actual fact, some of the most useful exercises here, once we've learned how to engage the core, is going to be movements like the squat and hip hinge, because you are going to be doing those as a new mum, or maybe a mum of a new child, if you've got other kids, many, many times every single day. This is the reality. But even in this particular scenario, we can still get better. Now, we have to acknowledge, if we've had a C-section through here, we have had a break in the abdominal wall. Often, ladies, even if you haven't had a C-section, struggle to reconnect the brain with the area of the pelvis or the area of the core between the belly button and the pubic bone, right? This is the section that is adjacent to the L4-5 and L5-S1 section of the lower back. Not to mention the fact that we have a rapidly growing baby that's an increasing weight that we're exposing ourselves to every day. So we need to try and catch up that process. Learning the technique first of how to engage the core, using exercises like the dead bug, the marching bridge, and even simpler versions of those. And then leveraging real world exercises like the squat, the hip hinge, the step up, the single leg hip hinge. Those are the formula, the pathway to actually rebuilding strength. And if we've got a little one that's growing like that, they're going to start crawling, they're going to start walking, they're going to do all sorts of stuff, right? You're going to have to catch up a little bit in terms of your technical competence. And the weight probably will need to catch up as well in terms of the weight that you're using on exercises like the squats and hip hinges. But this is just one example. And the good news is that we can still get better if we really dial things in. Yes, we've got a few disadvantages compared to the average person because we have a child who is wholly dependent on us. Most people just have a job that isn't 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And in spite of that commitment, I do think the worst job to have if you are someone who has a herniated disc, sciatica, or back pain in general is going to be being a parent to a new child. Because there's no way you always put yourself second in that scenario. Everybody else who's got a job and they think they've got it hard, you do, but you can work around that. Because at some point in the day you go home and you can do your work from there. You can focus to dig down deep into your rehabilitation work, dig down into your relief-based exercises. This is all the kind of stuff that we talk about in the program.